My name is Elias Thorne, and I've always been the kind of man who plays the long game. Born in a dusty corner of rural Texas, I inherited a sprawling 200-acre plot from my grandfather back in the 90s, a wild stretch of rolling hills, ancient oaks, and a creek that whispered secrets through the night. It wasn't prime real estate then, just family land I'd visit to escape the city grind. But as the suburbs crept closer, developers started sniffing around like hounds on a scent. That's when the trouble began. It started innocently enough. In 2018, I got a letter from the county about rezoning. Some big shot firm, Horizon Developments, was pushing a master plan community called Willow Creek Estates. Fancy name for cookie-cutter houses crammed together like sardines. I ignored it at first. My land was mine, deeded clear as day. But then the surveyors showed up. Orange stakes dotted the horizon, slicing through my property like veins on a map. I confronted one of them, a skinny kid with a clipboard, who mumbled something about eminent domain and HOA approvals. HOA, Homeowners Association? I'd heard horror stories, but this was my turf. I dug into it. Turns out, Horizon had greased palms at the county level, claiming my land was part of a larger tract they'd acquired from absentee owners. But they missed one crucial detail. Grandpa's deed was ironclad, predating their acquisitions by decades. It included mineral rights, water access, and boundaries marked by old stone fences that still stood. A quick call to my lawyer confirmed it. They were trespassing. Big time. Any sane person would have slapped them with an injunction right then, halted the bulldozers before they broke ground. But sanity isn't my strong suit when it comes to revenge. See, I'd lost a smaller parcel years back to a similar scam. Developers lowballed me, then flipped it for millions. This time I saw an opportunity. Let them build. Let them pour millions into foundations, framing, roofs. Let families dream of white picket fences on my dirt. Then, when the ink dried on the last closing, I'd pull the rug out. Poetic justice, served cold. I played dumb, moved back to the old cabin on the edge of the property, hidden by a thicket of pines. From there I watched. Trucks rumbled in at dawn, crews hammering away under the relentless sun. 96 homes, they planned. 3 phases of McMansions with manicured lawns, a clubhouse, and a pool that sparkled like fool's gold. The HOA formed early, Willow Creek HOA, led by a smug president named Karen Whitaker. Yeah, her name was actually Karen. She was a retired realtor with a bob haircut and a penchant for power trips. Karen and her board started enforcing rules before the first sod was laid. No deviations from approved paint colors, no unsightly RVs, mandatory dues for community enhancement. I attended a few meetings incognito, blending in as a potential buyer. This will be the premier neighborhood in the county, Karen crowed, flashing PowerPoint slides of happy families. Little did she know, those families were building their dreams on borrowed land. Months turned into a year. I documented everything. Photos of excavators tearing up my creek bed, videos of concrete trucks churning mud into my soil. I hired a private surveyor to remap the boundaries discreetly, confirming the encroachment. Horizon's title search had been sloppy. They'd relied on outdated plats, assuming Grandpa's deed was lost in some dusty archive. But I had the original, yellowed, and notarized, locked in a safe deposit box. As construction wrapped on Phase 1, buyers trickled in. Young couples with kids, retirees seeking peace, oblivious to the storm brewing. I felt a pang of guilt, but it faded when I remembered how these HOAs ruined lives. Finding folks for wrong mailbox heights, for closing over unpaid fees. This was payback for every little tyrant like Karen. Phase 2 flew up, then 3. By mid-2020, all 96 homes stood proud, streets paved, streetlights glowing. The grand opening was a spectacle. Balloons, barbecue, a ribbon cutting with the mayor. Karen posed for photos, her smile wide as the Grand Canyon. That night, I sipped whiskey on my porch, toasting the fools. The hammer fell in court. I filed quietly, suing Horizon Developments, the HOA, and the county for trespass, fraud, and damages. My lawyer, a shark named Reyes, laid it out. irrefutable proof of ownership, backed by historical records and GPS overlays. The defendants laughed it off at first, claimed adverse possession, eminent domain waivers. But when we presented the deed and discovery, their faces paled. The trial was a circus. Horizon CEO, a slick suit named Harlan, testified about good faith investments. "We've sunk $50 million into this," he blustered. Reyes countered with timelines. They'd ignored red flags, like my cabin's presence and utility bills in my name. Karen took the stand, sputtering about community benefits. "These homes are occupied. Families live there." The judge, a no-nonsense woman with steel-gray hair, wasn't swayed. "Ownership isn't negotiable," she ruled. The verdict hit like a thunderclap. The land was mine. All of it. Horizon had to compensate me for improvements at fair market value. But wait, no. Since they built without permission, I own the structures too. Texas law favored the landowner in such cases. The judge ordered eviction notices for all 96 homes, demolition at Horizon's expense if I chose, and punitive damages totaling $75 million. The HOA dissolved overnight, its board facing personal liability for negligence. Chaos ensued. News crews swarmed Willow Creek. Families protested, sobbing on camera about uprooted lives. "We had no idea," one mother wailed. Horizon scrambled, offering buyouts, but I refused. Let them stew. I countersued residents for back rent, symbolic, mostly to drive the point home. Karen's house was the first to go. I watched bulldozers level it, her prize garden reduced to rubble. In the end, I settled. Horizon paid $100 million, enough to buy peace and cover relocations. The homes, I donated half to a veterans charity, turning them into affordable housing sans HOA nonsense. The rest I raised, restoring the land to its wild glory. Planted native grasses, rebuilt the creek banks. Now it's Thorn Preserve, a nature sanctuary open to the public, but on my terms. Karen? Last I heard, she moved to a condo, stripped of her queen bee status. Horizon went bankrupt. Harlan indicted for fraud. Me? I sit on my porch, deed in hand, watching the sun set over land that's truly mine. Revenge isn't just sweet. It's a masterpiece built brick by brick on their folly.